names and thinks that they're all wrong. One's American and one is an Aussie. Talking about StarCraft 2 and the esports scene.
Hello. Welcome to the podcast.
Well, thank you so much. I am glad to be here.
Yep. I mean, we're a day late, but it'll do. Better late than never.
Very, very true. We'll take it.
We'll take it.
Mm-hmm. How's your new place?
Yeah, it's fine.
Like, not an improvement over the old place, or
It's
just basically the same?
Significantly smaller than the old place. It's up 3 flights of stairs every day.
Oh.
Yeah, so
That doesn't sound like it's
I think,
fine at all.
I think about 10, 15 years ago, there was some legislation put in place where if a building is more than 3 stories tall, you have to legally required to put in an elevator. And so for the next however many years until today and into the future, apartments were only built to be 3 stories tall so they could get away with not having an elevator. Because it's significantly cheaper. Yeah. So every day is leg day here.
Yeah, no kidding. Some good exercise, I guess.
Yeah. I'm down
moving
10 pounds already. I've been here a month.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
All right. Looks like you get a lot of light though, so that's nice.
Oh yeah. It's fine.
Okay. I don't know. I like natural light. I'm not as much of a vampire as like the gamer's supposed to be, but
I mean, the light is nice, except for when I was sleeping on that couch for 3 weeks.
fair.
Yeah.
And you do have the baker's hours, so
Sure.
light during sleeping time is not ideal. True facts.
Less than ideal, but I have a mattress now, and I'm sleeping in my own room like a regular human. It's like a real boy.
I know. Incredible. Amazing how much that makes you feel like a human.
Yeah. Although I have been like getting up in my sleep, and I'm not asleep when I do this. But you ever like wake up in a dream and you're like convinced you need to flip your pillow or something, and so you just sit there flipping it like 9 times, and then you promptly fall back right asleep?
Nope.
Okay, so I've been essentially sleepwalking. The other day I woke up and I have like 2 clothes baskets in my room, and I just stacked them both in front of the door. I'm like, something's gonna come through that door, I need to block it. And what I found was clothes baskets, and I just put them against the door. Then I promptly went back to my bed and fell asleep. The next night, I was like, I left my work alarm on, and I could hear it going off, but I couldn't find it, and I was convinced it was something under my bed, and I had like a package of something. I think it's like I bought like a new pair of sheets or something, and I just hadn't opened them yet, and I'm like, oh, the sound is coming from there, and in my sleep I tore open the package and like started like just ripping them to shreds. Like try like the batteries in here, I gotta tear it open and smash the batteries out. And then I did that, and then I went back to bed. Then last night I hid my guitar under my bed. I'm like, I don't know why, but the guitar's in danger and it's on its stand next to my bed. So I'm just like, all right, pick it up and very carefully put it on my bed. Not into the case that is also under the bed, just like on the case. Don't know why I did it, but
close, but no cigar. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. Sleep's an interesting concept.
Is this new? Is this new behavior?
Like 3 nights in a row is, and like such extreme lengths. Yeah, like my housemate says I've because we shared a hotel room at the PAX one time, that I sat up in my sleep and then swapped ends of the bed, just like up and down where my feet were, put my feet on my pillow, and was straight back to sleep. So I've always done stuff like that, and he says I talk in my sleep, but not stuff like this.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
So maybe it's brought on by the new location you're in.
Maybe.
I don't know. Cause yeah, I mean, I do crazy stuff in my sleep too, but um,
Like this, it sounds like.
well, okay. So one time I was on a trip with my grandma and grandpa and like a couple of my aunts back in
Mhm.
like '04.
Sure.
We're all in a hotel room, and apparently I stood up, walked over the door, and blocked it, screaming, "The pilots are coming! The pilots are coming!" And everyone's like, "What is going on?" Like freaked everybody out. Yeah. So the
Okay.
good thing is that when I'm in that mode, I'm pretty pliant. So they were like, "Brandon, go back to bed." And I was like, "Okay." And then I did. Like no
Okay.
matter what's happening, I can be panicked. I can be like in this state of anxiety, and they're just like, "Brandon, go back to sleep." And they're like, and I'm like, "You know what? That's a great idea. Let me do that." And then I do.
Fair enough. Maybe.
Uh,
Yeah.
one
Maybe
of
we'll
my
have.
other favorite stories is I had a roommate one night or one morning. He told me
Mm,
that I was sitting up in bed, muttering to myself, and it woke him up because I was talking, right?
right.
And he looks over and he's used to my shenanigans. And he's like, "It's okay, dude. Just everything's fine." And then I look at him and loudly go, "Then why is there a dead body under my bed?" And he goes, and he's like, uh, freaks him right out because it's like 3 in the morning,
Mhm.
right? It's not a good time of day for this conversation. But he just calms himself down and like tells me to go back to bed, and I do, right?
Okay. Interesting.
So yeah, I have a lot of stories like that. But considering I sleep alone now, no one's been telling me the crazy stuff that I do. So
Mm. Mm.
I'm
It's
missing
fair.
out on that part of my life experience.
You need to start recording your sleeps.
Yeah, just set up my phone so that it's recording me as I
Yeah.
sleep every night.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, good. I'm glad we can be crazy people in our sleep together. We have that in common. That's wonderful.
Yeah. We we share this somehow. That's great.
Right.
Oh.
I mean, my ex, I don't know. She never talked about this, but like after we broke up, she was like, "Yeah, she woke me up like 3 or 4 times a week with your nighttime shenanigans, and I did not get very much sleep." And I'm like, "What? Okay, so you're telling me this now, but all right, I'm sorry about that."
Right. Like you could have gone to a sleep clinic and try to work out if there was something there.
Yeah, like I knew I did crazy stuff, but I didn't know it was that often. I
Uh,
figured it was like once every couple weeks I do something nuts, but yeah, she's like 3 or 4 times a week, and I'm like, "Oh, I felt so bad." So anyway, yeah, maybe I should get that checked out. Who knows? Probably
maybe.
not getting the greatest sleep.
I mean, you're not bothering anyone now.
No, that's true. But like, maybe it's messing with my sleep schedules. I should do a sleep study.
Maybe. Yeah.
I don't know what they would do. Anywho's,
Good times.
anywho.
Uh.
Duddle says, "I'm going to show this VOD to my wife next time she garps about me snoring." Fair,
Fair. Yeah. I mean, maybe
fair,
she's
fair,
got
fair.
stories about turtles. Maybe we should book her for the next guest. Get her to
Ooh, that'd be
share.
good.
Yeah.
Although if it's just snoring, it's a little bit boring. I think
Uh,
snoring's pretty common.
I mean, no, I'm just working off the assumption here that partners don't actually tell about how bad it is. So
Oh,
she's just
right.
like, "Oh, it's snoring," but to like us, it'll be like he like wakes up and he like picks up
He
things and
opened the
swings them
windows.
around.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
threw the cat
He
outside.
he tries to barbecue in his sleep. I can't get him to stop.
Very Texas of him that way.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. Hmm.
Yeah, yeah. Well, good. All right. So the reason the podcast is a little bit late starting is because Omicron is watching an episode of Arcane and needed to finish it before we did the podcast.
Yeah, yeah. I was under recommendation watching Arcane, and
Mm-hmm.
it's good.
Mm-hmm.
It has been oversold unless it like somehow is like the final episode is a complete opposite of like Game of Thrones or something, and it sticks the
There's
landing and
2 more episodes, but yeah.
2 more episodes. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
So
you
I just want to say, it may be oversold, but you told me I wish I could start the next episode right now.
well,
You said that. I'm
what?
not
I
saying
know I,
I'm
that
not
no no
saying that disproves your argument. I'm just saying you liked it enough to say that.
That I mean, that's not what I said at all. I said it's tempting
What?
to watch the next episode right now.
Yeah.
That's not saying I would like to. Come on, don't misrepresent me. I feel like this is slander. uh, okay, so the
Anywho.
first thing I want to talk about is like, one, there will be spoilers for the show. I'm not going to try and word things ambiguously for people who have not seen the show. If you haven't seen it, tune out, go away. We don't care. The blue like magic gems in the first episode. It's like
Yeah.
Powder drops one and it becomes an explosion. And then
Yes.
45 seconds later, she's like sliding down buildings and on a chase and then into like a garbage chute. And they're all like in her back pocket. It's like, is that not enough motion to do it as well? Ever? Do you have magic pants that prevent inertia and force impact to things inside?
So you're saying the rules of the spheres which contain magical power that has just been invented are not very well established in the first couple episodes.
I'm just saying they could be more consistent with that. It's a nitpick.
Yeah.
It's a nitpick.
That's fair.
But it did just annoy me because I was watching that. I'm like, really? Secondly, you told me that character. What do you eye?
Well, I just feel like I'm about to have to eat my words. So go ahead.
Okay. You told me characters who you did not think would be like killable totally get killed off. And I have to say that of all the characters, the ones who did not have bright, like vibrant, colorful hair were all the ones that died. Like, I was like, oh, 10 seconds in, I'm like, I know someone here dies. What's the bet? It's all the people with brown hair, you know, and no gimmick. Or the other, like, because I have played League of Legends. My other assumption was it's all the people you can't play in the game. Because go figure, right? And then yeah.
I mean, that's an advantage you had over me for sure, because I had no idea who playable characters were in League. Zero. What about Echo?
The child?
Yeah, he's got brown hair.
He had like white hair.
And white. Yeah,
And,
but it's not like green or anything.
And honestly, I don't remember what happened to him. He didn't like.
What? Oh, hold on a second. What episode are you on? Shoot.
7.
You just finished 7 or you're coming up on 7?
No, I just finished 7, so 2 left. And basically, okay, so I remember him like the pre-time skip, where he's like, they took Van Dyer and, was his name Van Dyer? I don't remember. He took Friendly Bar Dad, and I saw where they went. You guys got to go and get him, and then everything there happens, and now it's like time skip, and I don't think that character showed back up. I don't remember the little kid.
What happens at the end of episode 7 for you?
Jinx lights the flare, and V shows up with Caitlyn, and then the
yeah. And then the Fireflies show up.
Yeah. Green skateboarders.
Google's telling. Are the episodes of what? Are you sure you just finished 7?
Maybe not. Okay, because I'm looking at... No. Okay, you're right. Nope. I've got 3 more to go because... So what happened was the episode finished, and then while we were setting up the show, Netflix auto-played into the next one, and then I checked the episode numbers, and I just assumed the highlighted one was the one I just watched, not the next one. Okay, so I got 3 episodes left. I'm coming into 7.
Okay. I'll shut up then. Okay. Yeah, fair. So you had an easier time deciding who was going to die than I could figure out.
Yeah.
Reasonable. You win. Good point.
No, Duddles, there are 9 episodes, bro.
Yeah.
My summary of episode 6 before that is Victor invents blood magic while Jace invents cum magic.
What the hell? What is going on?
That was going to be my take on that episode, and then thankfully, all the stuff with V and Jinx in the lane really saved that episode. Otherwise, it was very boring.
It's Vi, first of all, because her name's Violet, but
Nah, she got Roman numeral tattoos. I'm gonna call it V.
But it's not a V, it's a VI.
Right, but
If she wanted it to be V, it would just be a V.
Nah, it's V. It's V now.
You're so contrarian.
Fine.
Heaven forbid you call somebody what their name is. All right. Anyway, yeah. So okay, I will agree with you that a lot of the Jace Victor stuff is probably the weakest part of the show. I honestly find Jace to be fairly terribly boring a lot of the time. He gets more interesting in the last few episodes, but yes,
I mean,
for a lot of it, I'm like, okay, so this scientist kid who gets sponsored by this rich family and gets to do whatever the crap he wants, experiences a single setback, decides he's going to kill himself, and I'm like, are you serious, man?
I mean, okay, so I actually think he's the most interesting in that episode, because like your family house in your and your name in high society is everything to these people. So him being like, I am barred from the academy, like I am in Science City, barred from science. I gotta like
time to go.
There is there is nothing else for me here. I'm too posh for the Undercity. I'm an outcast from the good city. There is no place for me here. Right? Like, so he's actually the most interesting there. Post time skip, he's the least interesting because it's like, yeah, so I invented like faster than flight teleportation. And now the entire city loves me, and my banning was overturned, and I'm basically the president now. And then it's just him learning that, oh yeah, all these people are doing deals on the side and super shady shit as well.
Yeah, it's him understanding politics. Whee!
Yeah, it's like, wow, politics exist. If only I didn't already know that.
Yeah. Fair enough. All right, so yeah. I am more interested in the Jinx and Vi parts of the show. So, yeah.
Undoubtedly
much more interesting.
Undoubtedly the better side. Yeah.
So, I'm apparently emotionally broken.
Okay.
Because, like, I'd watch these scenes and be like, huh, that's what happened, huh? And then I'd see people talking about the scenes on Reddit and stuff, and they're like, talking about all this other like undercurrent and like body language type stuff, and I'm like, wait, what? And then they explain it, and I'm like, oh, that's what happened.
Like what? Like what am I missing here?
Okay, so the end of episode 3, right, which is this incredibly super well done, heartbreaking scene where Vander's been kidnapped and his kids come and save him, and they're this close to escaping, and then Powder, who gets left behind because she's too young and too unskilled and screws stuff up all the time, sets off a massive explosion using this unstable magic crystal that they don't understand, and effectively kills most of the people that she loves.
Right, yeah.
So then, very realistic fight between Vi and Powder, where Powder is gleeful that her monkey robot worked for the first time ever. One of her robots has done what she wants it to do, and then realizes what happened and that she was killed these people. And Vi is very upset with her, and they have this back and forth. And Vi hits her, and then like leaves to get some space. She's like, I just hit my sister. I really didn't want to do that. I'm afraid if I stay here, I'm going to do it again, right? So she makes the very mature decision to give herself some space and back away for a minute and calm herself down. And then Silco shows up. So this is what I missed. He shows up fully intending, he's holding a knife, right? He's fully intending to take Powder in order to get to Vi. But the expression on his face and his body language is very much, okay, I'm going to prey on this girl and I'm going to use her to get what I want.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
And then when she tackles him and expresses that she's been left, that Vi left her, and that she's alone in the world, and Vi's not her sister anymore, Silco identifies with that. Everything about him changes. His body language loosens up. He the knife goes away. His facial features really get less angry and more understanding. And
Because
I figured, yeah, go ahead.
yeah, they literally spent half the episode being like that. The same thing happened to him with the dad
Vander.
Vander.
Yeah.
Like I was like, oh, okay, it rhymes. It's about to quote George Lucas in episode 1. Like it's like poetry. It rhymes. It's not that's damning with faint praise, but
it is.
It's much better. I'd like to say, for the record, Arcane is much better than episode 1.
Yes.
Of Star Wars. But yeah, did you totally not see that? Like,
I read it as he was fully intending to manipulate her. That he was acting understanding and acting as though he cared about her situation solely to use her for his own ends. But no, he honestly saw himself in her and completely flipped the script on what he was planning to do and basically adopted her at that moment. He was like, you and I are the same. We were both abandoned by those that we loved and betrayed by those that we loved. And let's show everyone else how wrong they are to cast us aside. We are the same. And I didn't get that. I just didn't. Even in the next episode where it's clear they have this father-daughter relationship, I was kind of like, oh, so like over time, that's what it turned into. But no, it really is communicated. That's what happened in that moment on the street, you know?
So
anyway,
that actually reminds me of a few more nitpicks that I've got, which is this guy with the funky eye.
Silco.
Yeah. He is producing Shimmer, the purple magic liquid. And he wants to use it to like empower people so that they can march across the bridge and like take the Overcity or whatever it's called, right? Where all the rich people live. Like he wants to demand respect and all this.
Yeah.
It feels like in the first 2 episodes, he goes from having finally finished a stable-ish product to mass production in the space of about 45 seconds. And then that product gets destroyed, 10 seconds later. But
Wait. Back it up. So in the first 3 episodes, he's working on it.
Yeah. Well, the first episode, the very end of the first episode is like the test with the rat and the cat. And then second episode is the first human trials with the kid, like the gutter kid.
Yes.
And then the third episode
you still turn into a monster if you take it.
Right, but they're mass producing it at that point. Like they've got barrels and vials and hundreds of vials. And like he's like, we've got a weapon now, right? All I need now is to remove like the one stable faction in the Undercity, which is I still can't remember
Vander. We'll get there.
Look, he dies and he's not a playable character. What do you want from me? So he all he wants to do is set up a narrative that Vander has taken his kids and fled because he knows his kids were the ones that the enforcers are looking for in the Overcity, right? So you do that, you turn public perception against him, which undermines their position, and then you can incite war. That's what he wants. He doesn't do that at all in the time skip. He instead has made a narcotic, which occasionally turns into mutations, and is just now like living as an Undercity king. Why?
Yeah.
Why?
Well, I mean, it's a fair question. We do see in those middle episodes that he has Jinx working on something. There's some kind of a weapon that he wants her to develop.
He tells her to like concentrate on your gadgetry, which is fine because her gadgets are fun and explosive and probably useful to him in some measure. But then scolds her when she goes out and commits a heist to get the little blue magic orb. And if she's working on some really cool magic machinery or whatever that requires this orb, he couldn't have known about it because he didn't know she was going to go steal something that he didn't know exist.
Did he not know it existed? All he knows is that she went out there and killed 6 enforcers and blew up a building.
Right.
That's it.
But okay, so maybe he knows the orbs exist, but he didn't know.
Yeah.
He was surprised when she had it. Like she had to
Yeah.
like she didn't know what it like he didn't know what it would do. Or it didn't seem like he knew what it could do. I don't think, at the very least, it didn't seem that way.
Well, all we know, I mean, again, there are a lot of scenes in the show where there are not words, and this is one of them, right? She gives him the stone, and he is dumbstruck. He has no response to it at all.
Mm-hmm.
She doesn't say anything. She just hugs him, and he looks at it, and then the scene ends. So I don't know. You could be right. He didn't know it existed. He's amazed by this thing. Or maybe he wanted one real bad, but couldn't find a way to do it without killing like 6 enforcers like Jinx did. Right? And so part of him's like, crap, you did this in a way that hurts my ability to negotiate with the top side. But on the other hand, you got this thing I've really wanted, so I can't be too mad at you, right?
Sure, yeah. Like could go either
You don't
way
think
on
he
it.
wouldn't ask, what is this? As soon as she presents it to him?
Well, the problem
He's just awestruck.
Well, okay, so the problem I have with this as well is they invent like this big fist and like this laser tracking arm for etching or whatever, like basically pseudo weapons, and we're supposed to be like, all right, Tony Stark over here is being told by the the freaking Yoda of the council being like, look, it needs more time, like dev's time. You need to put in safeguards. Like you can't just release this because while they see mining tools and artisans like craftsman tools, he just like dude, these could be weapons, bro. Like
Right. Totally. 100%.
and it's like, okay, so you don't release the magic weapons, but then it's like, oh, flash forward to the next episode, and the freaking Silos number 2 has a mechanical arm that is powered by Shimmer. It's like,
right.
You don't need the little blue stones. You have magic juice.
Right.
It does literally all the same things.
Yeah. So the argument is that, yeah, different weapons technology will be developed in tandem by different people using different methods. It's how things have worked in humanity. Multiple countries were working on the nuclear bomb at the same time.
Sure. But if you already have magic juice, what do you need the blue stone for? Like, why does
Maybe you don't.
Right.
Does the top side have Shimmer?
But if he knows he doesn't need the blue stone, why is he awestruck when Jinx presents it? Like, he wouldn't give a shit at that point. He's literally an arms manufacturer. It's like, hey, I stole a nuke for you, as you produce hundreds of nukes a day, and they're addictive as well. Like,
well, maybe the blue stone gives a ton more power in a tiny package you don't have to refill. Whereas Shimmer, you gotta refill vials and reload it all the time. Like we saw with Silco's second, she has to reload that arm after like, what, 3 minutes of fighting?
Right, but the reload process is just for our benefit, right? It's, you see it once to be like, oh, okay, she's powered by Shimmer. You see it twice to be like, hey, just remember, she's injecting Shimmer into herself, which seems to be an automated process. Third time we see it, Caitlyn shoots it. Like, it's there for our benefit. Like, the fact that it's automatically reloaded into the arms system seems really pointless. It's like, we don't see her jamming vials in or anything like that. It just expands, and we're assuming that it's flowing in. But it's like, it could all be integrated in the system. Poor design. But, he knows at the moment the people across the bridge don't have blue magic orb powered weapons. He has Shimmer powered weapons and doesn't just go across and take the supply of the blue magic orbs and then develop his own weapons. Like, he could just do that, and he hasn't and didn't. It doesn't make any sense.
He could at least try. I mean, he got one magic Shimmer arm weapon.
Sure.
We don't see anything else, though, right?
Right, but I mean, okay, sure. Just people huff and Shimmer turn them into something the regular people couldn't deal with ever. Right?
Yeah, I assumed after the first couple episodes he would just give a ton of poor people Shimmer, turn them into monsters, and say, "Go!" Right? Just send them across the bridge and let them murder everything.
Right, and it certainly seems like the Shimmer addicts have a degree of control built into them. Otherwise, what would be the point? So his motivation for not doing that really doesn't make any sense to me. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, it's a good question. That's fine.
Yeah. Not a
I
perfect
guess
show.
yeah, I mean,
That's,
yes.
oversold.
I mean, another thing that I didn't really pick up on earlier is that episode 4, when we first meet an older Jinx,
Mm-hmm.
and she has that fight with the fireflies,
Mm-hmm.
and she grabs the one firefly and her mask falls off, and it kind of looks like Vi.
Sure.
And then she freezes and holds her there for a couple of minutes,
Mm-hmm.
and then kills her, and then goes nuts with her minigun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I was like, okay, she's nuts. Like, she does this all the time. She just lets loose with the gun and shoots everything, and sometimes hits her teammates, and like, it's just her character.
Sure. Yeah.
But it's PTSD. It's
Yeah.
basically her being like, oh crap, my sister's alive, or I think my sister's alive for a minute, and then she just like gets flooded with all of the trauma associated with that. And she's not there. Like, when she starts shooting everything, they very carefully animate her face in a way where there's nobody quite home at that moment. She's
Sure.
not doing it out of a sense of maliciousness or intentionality. She's just firing because she just had an episode and she's not quite in control of who she is.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
So you picked up on that.
yeah, I mean, I feel like the end of episode 6, when she does finally meet Vi again,
Yeah.
she does have essentially another episode where she's hearing voices and all that, and she does end up letting loose with the minigun again. But Vi's response to this is, "What the hell is going on with my sister?" And from that perspective,
Yeah.
it definitely looks like she's enjoying combat.
Well,
That, oh, who is this person? Like, who's my little powder turned in? Who's Pow Pow turned into? It's like this bloodthirsty merc, right?
yeah. That's an interesting one of my favorite moments is that one, because they reunite for like 4 seconds, and then the fireflies show up and they're both in a fight for their lives, and it's like, okay, we didn't really have a lot of time to talk to each other, right? And Vi's smashing people in the face and killing people and knocking people off their surfboards, right?
Yeah.
And she enjoys it, but then she sees Jinx doing it and like shooting people and hitting them with her gun, and sees the expression on her face, and she's like, what is going on with you? And I'm like, okay, so you've always been kind of into violence. Like, I don't know who you are to be like, why are you enjoying this, sister? Like, kind of, you sort of do too, right?
Yeah, she enjoys the proficiency of it, but not the harm. Like, her entire beginning arc is like learning that you can't like solve problems essentially with your fists. It's like violence doesn't solve everything essentially, which is amusing because violence seems to solve just about every other issue in the show.
Yes, totally.
But okay, so when she's with Vander, after in the first episode, when she comes back from being like essentially having a fight with the other gutter kids over like the stolen stuff.
Yeah.
Her dad is still encouraging that she won. So it's like I enjoy the proficiency of it. I enjoy being good at this. But she now knows that you don't do it because you love to inflict pain, right? Like, the person on the receiving end isn't why you should like it. And like, it's a very like,
it's a bit of a fine line from being like, I enjoy the technical aspect of punching someone in the face versus I enjoy inflicting harm, right?
Well, it's the difference between like liking being a boxer and liking going out and mugging people.
Yeah.
You know, or bashing people up. And it really like I think that's meant to like clearly show how these two different girls who are basically the same have been raised by different dads and the effect that that's had on them. And that's really cool. What I'd like to say is Jinx immediately recognizes the woman to being an enforcer. She wasn't wearing enforcer clothes, and she traded the only thing of like enforcer equipment for a healing potion. So I don't like. You could have just lied and said she's not an enforcer.
Isn't she wearing an enforcer jacket?
I don't think so. Like, because the moment they got into the Undercity, Vi like robbed 2 dudes and like, here, change into these clothes. And then they went
Vi
to
took a
brothel.
jacket for her. I don't
And
remember her taking a jacket for.
She threw a pair of clothes to Caitlin and was like, "Get changed. We're going to a brothel."
Okay.
Yeah, and yeah, she traded her gun for a health potion. So, I don't know.
Right.
De-escalate
Which is a
little.
pretty important moment, I thought.
Yeah. I mean, maybe only topsiders have blue hair, and that's how she was able to well, no, Jinx. Jinx has blue hair.
Wait.
Never mind.
No, that's not it.
Jinx was
Fair
secretly
enough.
topsider the whole time. No. Yeah, so minor nitpicks, but otherwise good.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I actually, one of my nitpicks is there's no way that Vi, when she was in prison, never heard about the insane blue-haired enforcer girl that works for Silco and likes making homemade bombs, right?
Yeah.
There's not a chance.
I agree, but when you look at the one job that we've seen her on, she was the one hiding in the underdeck of the because when we're first introduced to her as a grown up, she is not on deck with the barrels of imported shimmer. She's like the one below decks in hiding. So it's very possible that she's being deliberately hidden while working.
When the Fireflies go down there,
they're like, "Oh shit, realize what's happening."
They go, "She's here."
Right.
That implies people know who she is.
Right. Jinx is a little hard to hide.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good chance.
That's all. I mean, if they had just been like, you live in this cell and the only time anybody visits you is to beat the crap out of you and bring you food, okay. But the reason we know she's there because she knocked out the dude
tattoo face
in the cafeteria.
Yeah.
So she gets out. She's talking to people. She's hearing stuff.
Right.
There is no way she thinks that her sister is dead. None.
Yeah.
That's all. Okay.
Yeah.
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 I also, my nitpick is Vi's hair looks amazing when she's in prison. It's like, how are you doing that?
Yeah.
How do you have access to hair products down there?
That's true. Yeah, her head is phenomenal when she gets out of prison.
It really is. She's, I mean, yeah, that's another thing.
But I mean,
honestly, if you're in a box, if you're in a hole for 7 years, constantly getting the shit kicked out of you by the warden, you do not look like that when you get out. I'm sorry.
Well, I mean, she got tattooed in prison, so obviously it says they're getting things in somehow. It's like, I'll trade you a pack of cigarettes for some Pantene or something.
Some hairspray. A little makeup to cover my bruises.
Most people are trading in for shivs. She just wants like a styling car.
Right. You know what? Maybe you're right. Maybe she beats up other people for random stuff that she needs, right?
Maybe. Yeah. Yep.
Like people would pretty quickly understand that she's capable of that. So she's just she's a hit woman for other people. I guess. Yeah. Anywho, fantastic. What else did I want to talk about with you about the show? I thought the Heimerdinger character concept is interesting. Just having someone who is functionally an immortal among regular lifespan people.
Yeah.
And his perspective, which he thinks is the right one because he's had it for so long, right?
Yeah.
And for him to be like, we're going to take 10 years developing and testing and making sure this technology is safe. Like for him, that's nothing. But for everybody that he's around, that's forever, you know?
Right. Yeah.
And he doesn't get that. He doesn't understand it. He puts ideas out there as though everybody has been around for 400 years and will continue to exist for another 400 years, right?
307. Yeah.
Yeah. Wait, what? Does he say that?
someone like he asks Jace how he is. He's like, I'm 24. He's like, I'm 307 this year.
Right. So 300 years, and how much he's going to live for a while longer because again, to him,
I
a
looked
decade
it
is
up.
nothing.
I looked it up. They're functionally immortal. Like they have no lifespan.
Okay.
They're gonna be there forever. Like so,
They just do
them being
things.
like, we're gonna retire you, to him is like, you mean I don't get to still be basically a child to my people on this council? Like I have to go to like high school now or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's a good character, I think. I think he's got good intentions, but obviously he doesn't quite understand
I mean,
the people he works with.
his viewpoint is doubly interesting when you consider that he's been on the council for hundreds of years, probably, like since the city's founding. And
I think it was 200 years since the
yeah,
city was founded, right?
something like that. Yeah, and
Yeah.
just across their bridge is slums, and he's like, "Well, I've
Yeah.
got all the time in the world to fix that. It's not a problem that he's dealing with now. I mean, sure,
Yeah.
annually we have a thing called Progress Day, and our slogan is like peace, equality, progress, right?" And I'm like, equality? Excuse me?
Except for the people on that side of the bridge.
Yeah, they
Totally.
they have equal rights to bullets from our enforcers. Like lethal force is no issue, and he's like, his viewpoint is definitely in line with that, where he's just like, yeah, I got the long view of things. Their lives don't necessarily mean something right now. Like, I'd love to help them when someone else invents a solution.
We've got time.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's his entire outlook on everything is we've got time.
Yeah. Okay.
Which
So
I think is a realistic outlook for an immortal, right?
Yeah. So other council dude, who's basically like a clockwork monster.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is he actually like a clockwork person, or is that like, is he flesh under there?
No idea. None.
Okay, cool. Just want to make sure.
He doesn't do anything. He shows up to meetings and like votes on stuff and says things every once in a while, and that's it.
Yeah.
I think he's at that violin performance, but
Right. But I'm just looking at all the stuff that Victor's doing, and like I know him from the game, so I'm like, okay, there could be parallels here, but I don't know if the show's gonna like emphasize them or not.
yeah. See, and that's something you have. I was like, okay, Victor's dying. This show is willing to kill people. He doesn't have pink hair, right?
It's true. It's true. He
But
is.
for me, I was like, oh man, he is gonna die. That's gonna be some kind of catalyst for Jace. But the people who play the game are like, nah, he's fine.
Yeah. Yeah, I was like, yeah, he's got the red shirt of Arcane. He's brown hair, white guy. He's totally up for death. No.
He's ill.
Exactly.
He's just ill the whole time. Yeah. But after I watched the show, I went and looked into it, and I'm like, oh, he's a champion, huh? Yeah, he'll probably be all right.
He'll probably be fine.
Yeah. What do you think of the fight choreography? I'm really impressed with it.
I like Vi's stuff.
Okay.
I like watching her punch. Most of the time, Jinx's stuff is like, I'm playing a game called Arcane at the moment, and it's like a top-down twin-stick shooter kind of thing. And I've got a minigun, and it's like, oh, I'm watching her be me, holding left click and spin my mouse in a circle, hitting all the enemies around me. Like, not super impressed with that.
One thing I do like from Jinx's fighting style is that it's minimal movement.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if something's coming at her, she will move just enough to avoid getting hit by it. She doesn't dodge roll out of the way.
Right.
She doesn't leap. She just... He almost has a freaking spider sense. That fight when she's with Vi and the fireflies are coming.
Yeah, okay.
A dude is on a hoverboard. He comes down at her. She doesn't look up. She just goes about 3 inches, and he misses, and then she smacks him with her gun.
Right. Okay.
Which is friggin' spider sense, man.
So nitpick time. She does that, and then a guy laying on the floor behind her, like, thrusts a knife or something and cuts her like she didn't have spidey sense anymore.
Inconsistent spider sense.
Yeah.
She does the same thing on the fight on the airship in episode 4 when she's first introduced.
Okay.
Someone comes at her from above, and she's just like 4 inches leans over. It's an interesting thing to give her.
Hmm.
Just that she's not about big movement. She's about smaller, tighter.
Sure.
Just do enough to avoid taking the hit because she can't take hits. Like
Right.
Vi can take hits, Jinx cannot take hits.
No. So actually, Jinx's best scene so far, without doubt, is when she's in that little arcade training area and she reassembles Vi's robot training.
Arcade punching training game.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And she's like in there and she's like doing the movements as well, and then the animation flashes back between Vi and Jinx. Like that is without a doubt the coolest scene in the entire show, animation wise, and
It's
probably
really
Jinx's
good.
best fight scene as well.
You've got some more stuff coming up that you might like more, but that is a really, really well done scene.
Yeah,
And yeah, it's so good. She goes back, she like reconnects with her childhood, and she's been living in the shadow of Vi all this time, like she did when she was a kid.
Mhm.
And then she still ends up second place on the leaderboard to Vi's
Right.
all-time record. And
Mhm.
just her face in that moment. Again, it's another time where the show trusts you to understand what's happening based on the facial features and structures and movements of their characters.
Sure.
Because
Yeah.
she doesn't say anything that expresses displeasure. She just looks at it. Her face is just this mixture of anger and like, seriously, I still can't beat her. And then she shoots it and walks off, right?
Right.
Yeah, it's good.
Mhm. Mhm. Good stuff.
Really, really good. Totally, totally great. Was there anything else? Yeah, the Silco too. Like, as far as villains go, pretty good. Like, he's at heart, even if he's not necessarily doing it, a freedom fighter, right? He wants freedom for his people. He wants to not be crushed under the weight of Piltover. And he's right to feel that way, right? We agree with him. The show agrees with him on that. So I think all the best villains think that they're heroes. And he thinks he's a hero.
I don't think he thinks he's a hero.
Oh,
I don't think he thinks that at all. I think you could make that argument pre time skip when he's like, I'm making weapons so we can go across the bridge, and now he's just like, oh yeah, I'm a drug lord and I live comfortably, right?
Like 7 years later, he still hasn't made any progress on that front.
Yeah, he hasn't made any progress because what he wanted was not like equality and a revolution. It was power and respect, and now he's got that at the end of a knife. He has the muscle, which the prostitute lady Yordle tell, like, why has no one tried to stop him? Well, there were people who tried, but he's got the muscle and the money now. Like,
right.
He runs this place. He doesn't think he's a good person. He knows he's not. He went into the den of addicts offering shimmer, right, to anyone who would like go and kill people that just helped him. Like the guy with glasses, like he was like, yeah, I'm like, I don't want her to see me like this. And then 2 seconds later, he's taking the drugs out of his hand. Silco knows he's a bad dude. Like there is no ambiguity there for me. Not anymore. Like the argument could have been made when he was trying to do stuff, but no, not now.
Yeah, no, that's a fair point. If it wasn't for that, though, I think it'd be an easier argument.
If it wasn't for his entire like character development and storyline for 6 out of 9 episodes, yeah.
All right, fair enough.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's see. So you need to watch the last 3 episodes then.
Yep. Yes, I do.
There is some good stuff in there for sure.
I look forward to it. So we've got some time. What has been going on with StarCraft?
DreamHack Last Chance has been happening. Rogue got knocked out already.
Rogue got knocked out?
Yeah.
It's his birthday today. He can't get knocked out. That's illegal.
Well, he lost 2-1 to a laser, and then Zest 2-0'd him. So he done.
He done.
Yeah.
Okay. Can't argue with that.
Not at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, very surprising. Time and Zest get out of Group A.
Yeah, I don't think we picked
Remember when we were like, Time?
He gets out first. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
He beats Zest and he beats the laser. Said his TVZ was good, so that helped him, but beating
Yeah.
Zest is a bit of a surprise.
Yeah.
And then, is that happening now?
What?
Group B.
No, that's Group B's over. That happened today, but it's over.
Oh, I didn't refresh my page. Oh, I forgot. I was going to watch this. Anyway, Maru and Raynor get out. Not a surprise.
Not a surprise. Ragnarok going 0-4. Not a surprise. Sorry, Ragnarok.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hero Marine took 1 game off Raynor.
Yeah.
Actually, 2-1'd him.
Yeah.
And then lost to him the second time around. That's rough.
Yeah. Oh, well. It is what it is.
It is. It is what it is. And then tomorrow, it's Clem, Dark, Solar, and Max packs. Again, very likely Clem Dark, unless Dark does the rogue thing and falls apart here. I mean, falling apart versus Max packs is different from falling apart versus Zest.
Yes, that's true. I think that's extra falling apart, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like, is Zest better than Max pack? I think so.
Yes, definitely.
I don't think that's controversial.
No. So Rogue, actually, when he lost that second match versus Trap, second game, he actually slammed his keyboard and accidentally paused it.
Oh, really?
He was so frustrated that, he actually accidentally paused the game, and the casters were like, he doesn't usually show that much emotion. It was really kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Rogue's a bit of a robot.
Yeah, I mean, a little bit.
Yeah. Not entirely, but
like, I wouldn't say he's known for that, but innovation's not here, so we can hold the seat at the moment.
As long as Inno's out, someone's got to do it.
Yeah.
Totally.
Fair enough. That's interesting.
And then Group D, Cyril, Cure, Dream, DRG.
Cyril, it's either between Dream and Cure, and I don't know.
Agreed.
Yeah.
I like what Dream's doing. I like what Cure has done.
Yeah.
I think they're both, right about that same level, I would say. Yeah.
It's interesting. It's going to be good games.
Totes.
Too
Totes
bad
good games.
I will be at work when they're playing.
That is too bad.
Yeah. And actually, now I can listen into these. Work's Wi-Fi, like the firewall at work, will block Twitch except the app. All right, like if I just try to on Chrome on my phone, it's like in browser, like no, we blocked this site. I'm like, what about the app? It's like, no, that we'll do that. It's fine.
So dumb, but hey, take it. No complaints.
Yeah.
As
long as I remember, I'll listen into these games.
I guess to wrap up, I do want to tell a story that I saw on Twitter. So there's this author that I follow out there. He has pretty funny tweets, and he told a story where he wanted to interview a statistician, a baseball statistician.
Sure.
Who was doing some kind of interesting stuff, right?
Yeah.
And so the dude says, okay, yeah, that's fine, but I have another guy who's been wanting to interview me for a couple of months, and I'm going to let him get some time with me, and then I can talk to you. I just don't want to feel like I skipped over that guy first, because he was there first, right?
Sure.
And he's like, probably nothing's going to come of it, and then whatever, we'll have some time. So author dude's like, all right, that's cool. Nice. It turns out the other author is the guy who wrote Moneyball, which sold 2 million copies.
Right.
And became a really successful motion picture. Yeah.
It's like, let me just give my scoop to a Pulitzer Prize winner. Yeah.
He's like, I was this close. I was so close to being that guy. Nope.
That's rough.
Just too late. Just barely. Yeah, that was great.
So rough, buddy. Something I saw on Twitter, which was actually through your Discord server. Toby Fox, developer of
Deltarune and Undertale.
Complaining about his game having the rating being changed.
Yep, in Straya.
Yeah, in Australia specifically, but
Hmm.
I was super annoyed because it's basically complaining about literally fucking nothing. Because his game was changed from like a PG to an M, so that basically puts it at like a T for teen in the US. Still doesn't require any ID or adult or parental permission to buy it. And
Okay.
it also only affects it in physical stores. And I'm guaranteeing 99% of his sales in Australia came from Steam. So he's literally
Absolutely.
just being like, "Woe is me! Australia's changing my fucking rating on my like hit 1 million sale game." It's like, dude, nobody gives a shit. Stop complaining.
What's the level where you do have to have a parent with you?
R18. So
Oh, okay.
yeah.
What is-
Otherwise, okay,
hmm.
maybe MA 15 plus, but you just need to look 15. I-
But I mean, it's popular with like 10-year-olds, man. They don't look 15.
right, but his game is not MA, it's M.
Yeah, right.
Like,
So the next level up is the one where he would have to complain.
yeah.
Or maybe complain.
Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe. Who's
Maybe.
buying Undertale these days?
Right.
I'm sure
To be
someone.
fair, it is Australia being very strangely puritanical about stuff. Because wasn't it like he had the word piss in his game?
Sure.
And that's what they were taking offense to?
Right, but in something that is like sold to 10-year-olds, do you want them being like would you be happy if you like walked in on your daughter watching TV and it was Dora the Explorer being like, "You taking the piss, mate?" Right? Like you'd be like, that's a bit inappropriate, right? Like you should bump the rating up for that. It's a fair word for it.
I guess. I'm not all that offended by the word piss, honestly.
No, but it's
Maybe it has
not
different meanings down there.
it's not like it's not something to be offended by, but it is inappropriate for a child to be saying. Right?
So
Like
basically, it takes it from this is appropriate for kindergartners and moves it up to like
no,
what, 12-year-olds?
no, it moved it for it would have been PG, which is parental guidance. I think it 12-year-olds to 13. It moved it from like 12-year-olds to 13-year-olds. It literally
So
like,
we were concerned that the 12-year-olds are going to see the word piss and be irrevocably changed.
Nah, I mean, here's the thing: the game still like previously was parental guidance, so it's for 5-year-olds as well. It's like it's basically saying
Okay.
it's for kids. It's like you wouldn't expect that in Pokemon, right? Like, oh look, Pikachu's taking a piss. Like you wouldn't expect that. They're like you would absolutely change the rating like, if it was something like that. Right? Like it's totally valid to move the rating slightly. It's like, oh, we missed this in our ratings classification. Whoop de fucking do.
Yeah, I guess. I'm still hung up on this concept that piss
Look,
needs a ratings change.
look, it alone didn't cause a ratings change. It in
Oh?
combination with everything else that the game is also already rated for. Like
Oh.
if it didn't have violence, it probably wouldn't have moved it. Right? If it didn't have violence and adult themes and drug use, it probably wouldn't have moved it. And also, I do take offense to someone living in Utah calling Australia like puritanical. That's like
We haven't rated Undertale for 13 and up.
I'm just saying it's the pot calling the kettle black. That's
I only bring it up because you guys are crazier than we are. That's all.
How dare you, good sir? I will take my censored version of not Half-Life, Left 4 Dead 2. Thank you very much. Actually, oh god! So I've been listening to a lot of old podcasts, and they literally brought up that that controversy where Left 4 Dead 2 couldn't be rated in Australia because we at the time we
Right.
didn't have in our ratings, and they were saying on the same episode that Australia had recently changed a lot of other ratings kind of stuff about being weirdly puritanical. Specifically, they had banned women with A-cup breasts from doing porn because it fetishizes minors.
Oh, okay. At least there's some reason behind it. And I was like, what?
There's some logic, but it's like, no, that's a perfectly
It's
valid.
not good logic, but there's some logic.
Yeah, it's perfectly valid body shape for an adult woman. Like, you can fuck
It
right off
is.
with that.
Let's not shame body types. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just, for a country settled by literal convicts, you guys are crazy puritanical in certain ways. I don't understand it.
You say settled by convicts, But it's not. But it's not like A, there wasn't already people living here, and B, the convicts
Yeah.
didn't have people watching them. It's like, no, we were settled by England, and they dumped their convicts here, but they put them in prisons. Like, they were still ruled over by English people. Like, saying
Well, the people in charge of your government now, are they descendants of the British? Or are they descendant of the convicts?
¿Por qué no los dos? Right?
Ah, see?
Right.
So some of this is the descendants of the convicts being like, yes.
Okay.
We must control the morality of our people
So-
through government.
So it depends on where you look, right? Australian political people have, like, we've had prime ministers who held the record for fastest person who can drink a pint of beer, right? Like, which, hey, that seems like a great convict thing. Convicts like to drink, but at the same time, like, I think it was like 2 prime ministers ago, we had a guy who was literally born in England, right? Like,
Okay, sure.
so
What about right now?
Jesus, I don't know. He is stupidly puritanical, like, because he's like a massive Pentecostal, which, boy,
Mm-hmm.
that doesn't just seem like a cult. But stories
know
for
if
another.
Yeah.
Stories for another time. So I mean, he's like deeply religious. Like, that's like, if
Obviously.
puritanical religious, I think we can pretty easily spell out a line of connecting relations. But saying like we were founded on convicts just doesn't, like, we had a large.
Is it unfair?
It's unfair. Like, we had a large convict population, but you know what? We also had masters, like prison guards. We had a lot of prison guards.
Yeah, but you outnumbered the hell out of those guys.
Sure.
Okay. I'm just saying, statistically, the number of Australians who come from convicts has got to be much higher than those who descend from good, upstanding British people without criminal records,
I mean,
who came to watch over you.
Okay, yeah, but I mean, I think that still like belies the issue, because it's not even the point I want to make. The point is, like, Australians have like hundreds of descendants from all over the place. We pride ourselves on being very multicultural, and it's like, oh, where I live now, very large Asian community. I might be the one of 2 white people living in my building, the other one being my housemate, right? Like,
Okay.
and so it's like, okay, so none of these people are descended from convicts. Like, we have a large influx of foreign people, and that's great. I love them. More the merrier. But, like, they have nothing to do with convicts.
That is true. They do not.
And
I'm looking up the demographics of your country real fast.
Go for it. Yeah. I'm not saying that white people still probably don't probably do still outnumber all the non-white people, probably. But I think given the role of political leaders, it's typically rich white people. And I don't think a lot of convicts became rich white people. Like, sure, there probably was some, like, you're going to find Dick Smith or something who was like, hi, he was panning for gold in the gold rush and then founded an electronics company and, you know, got burnt by Rupert Murdoch or whatever. And now... Yeah, like, you're going to find something, but I think typically if you were to look up the history of a lot of the politicians, it would be rich white folk dating back to, like, rich white folk, probably.
Fair enough.
If I had to put a thing on it. Yeah.
So this is an interesting number, actually.
Yeah.
So there are, 25 million Australians?
About that.
And according to this, from the Bureau of Statistics from 2020, 18 million are Australian born, and a whole 7.5 million are foreign born. That's a big chunk.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I get what you're saying.
Yep.
You have 110,000 people who were born in America living in your country.
Sounds about right. Yeah. Okay, so I'm looking at the diversity for the area that I'm living in, and I think Chinese is 35% of the area that I'm living in, with Korean being the next largest. Yeah, so it's, you know, I don't know, probably not representative of the country, but definitely representative of places where it's like calling them puritanical convict settlers just doesn't fit.
All right, fair enough. You're still puritanical, though.
Sure, yeah. But, I mean, Throw a dart at the Western world and try and hit a country that isn't.
I guess, but like you're more puritanical than England is, and the whole argument is that it's all these
You think so?
British uppity people that came. I do. I never hear about these stories about England like having crazy puritanical rules about what can be in video games.
Um.
And maybe it happens. I just don't hear about it. You guys just
Yeah.
get the bad press.
Yeah, we just get bad press because we've got a history of doing it. But
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. There's probably something you can find.
Yeah.
It's
maybe.
which I assume I'm just not hearing about it.
Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, the video game community really likes getting their dander up when this kind of thing happens,
Sure.
right?
Yeah.
So if this has happened in England in the last 5 years, I think we would have heard about it.
Yeah, maybe.
No?
Or maybe because they don't have freedom of the press, we're just not hearing about it because they put gag orders on everything.
Yes.
Or maybe it's because there's like 2 British game developers in the whole of the UK. Maybe.
Right.
Who knows?
Well,
I'm sure like Ubisoft has a headquarters over there, and then the Rockstar was originally from there.
yeah, Rockstar. Yep.
Yeah.
Sony's got a studio there.
Sure, but what have they ever made?
True fact. Criterion? Oh, Burnout, Need for Speed.
Yeah, they make racing games. Like, what are you gonna
Not really
censor
a
there?
lot to ESRB there, right?
Yeah.
Twitch has an office up there.
Yep. Yeah.
Anywho. All right, we're over time. Gotta go.
Yep.
Well, good discussion as always, and that's going to be it from us today. This has been another edition of the Falcon Paladin Hour with Somicron, broadcast live at twitch.tv/Somicron. You can also find us anywhere podcasts are distributed, including Spotify. Feel free to support the podcast directly if you want to at patreon.com/Somicron. And again, support through merchandise can be found at falconpaladin.store.
Yep.
So that's it. Thanks for hanging out with us. Thanks for enduring the arcane discussion. We're going to have more of it next week, probably. And until then, stay safe and stay healthy. And above all, take care of yourselves.
Bye.
Goodbye.